Ask and you shall receive. So this is story number 2, and I'm going to title this The Godfather. So this particular story took place in the 90s. It was about 1998. That would make me 8 years old. It would make my little sister 7 years old. And the reason I give age is because I am of the school of thought that age does matter when experiencing things of the other world. I think that they are important and are part of your experience here. Anyway, so although this story takes place many years prior to the story of Jean, this story did not have an impact on me as it did with Jean. I was 13 then. I was about 8 years old this time. And the reason for that is because I think that the younger you are and the closer you are to the start of like your life or whatever, I think the more innocent and the more accepting you are of the things that happen. My sister's godfather was terminally ill, and he only had a few weeks left to live when we got the call that maybe we should go see him. So my dad takes me, my little sister, and we head up to wherever he was living. But the strange thing about this is that my dad and I were not allowed in the house, only my little sister. They said no to my father and I. I, to this day, don't understand it, and I don't know why, but that's just what it was. It may have been some family beef, whatever. But so she goes in, she's in there for maybe about 45 minutes or so, and she comes out and she just looks, she's just like, she's not in tears, and but she just looks distraught in some way, like, you know? And so we take her, we go home, and that was that. About a week later, my dad, and my sister, we're at the kitchen table. It's a nice, beautiful summer day. I remember the birds chirping. We had the TV on in the background, and my dad is like showing us some art skills. And we're all like huddled over the kitchen table. This doesn't matter necessarily, but just setting the scene for you. And so the layout of the house is the kitchen is here, there's a hallway, and then there's 2 bedrooms on either side of the hallway. And then there's a bathroom straight across. So we're hunched over this table, and all of a sudden my sister and I look up. We look over at the hallway, and we see her godfather walking from one end of the hallway slowly into the bedroom to the right. We're watching this, and then we look at my dad, and we're like, oh, I don't remember the guy's name, but there's little sister's godfather. And my dad's like, what? And I just remember and the thing is, when he doesn't understand something, he gets angry. And so he's like, what are you guys talking about? And we're like, he just walked from one side of the hallway to the next. There he is. We're saying this in Creole. Not that that matters, but sometimes when I translate things, it sounds weird. But, he just walked from one side of the hallway to the next. And my dad is like, if you guys don't stop lying right now, you're going to get the belt. Listen, he was a strict man. He didn't like spooky shit, so. Anyway. And so we're like, no, we saw him. So later on that day, my dad didn't believe us. I'm sure he did, but he didn't want to admit it. And so later on that day, my sister and I, we're sitting together in the room, and we're talking about, what did you see? And so I asked her, what did you see? And she says, I saw him just walking from the left to the right. Like he walked from one end of the hallway to the next. And I said, did you see the wires in his head? She's like, what? I said, the wires. There were wires in his brain. They were like this is what it looked like. Think of like a motherboard or something, like kind of like on TV when there's, or even like neurons or something firing from one end to the next, right? It was all colorful. It looked like colorful wires, and there were streams of light just kind of like firing off, right? In his brain. So where his brain should have been was actually just a bunch of wires. And my sister's like, no, I didn't see that. He just looked normal. It was just him. And it's crazy because she and I saw 2 completely different things. So later that night, my mom gets home, and I know she believes in this stuff. I had an inkling that she did. So I went and I told her, and turns out he died of brain cancer. So it's just interesting to me that I had no idea. And remember, you guys, I did not go inside the home when we went to visit. It was only my sister. She was the only one allowed in that house. And so I had no idea what this man was dying of. And so for me to see him in a completely different form than my sister, she saw him from like here down, we saw him exactly the same, but from here up, I saw the wires. I saw instead of his brain, it was just beautiful, colorful, rainbow neuron stuff. I'm still trying to understand why we saw him differently. They come across differently, I guess, to people, depending on how ready you are, or how connected I think you are to it. I had less of a connection, so I think I was allowed to see more. I don't know. I don't know. These are just my theories. This one didn't have much of an effect on me whatsoever. I honestly couldn't have cared less. I thought it was cool, right? Because I'm 8 years old, and it's just like, oh my God, right? That is actually my first recollection of experiencing something otherworldly. Obviously, things get much more wild as I get older, and it's gonna get weird from here on out. And I don't want any judgment. I also want to preface this entire series by saying that I am not mentally ill. I have not experienced so much trauma in my life to where I would have these crazy experiences. You don't have to believe everything that I say. As a matter of fact, even though I am the one that experiences these things, I still am a healthy skeptic. Even though I've seen it and I've experienced it myself, there's still a part of me that's like, there's no way that was real. There's no way. So even though in my heart I know, my brain is still trying to like understand it. So the stories are probably gonna get weirder going forward. Please, no judgment. I will see you in the next video. Peace.